So we're holding by the Mishnah on Tzaddik Zayin of Beis. Machar Kesubasa Imiktasa. If a woman sold either her entire ksuba or a portion of the ksuba, mashka Kesubasa Imiktasa, or she deposited as a mashkon, the entire ksuba or a portion of it, Nas Kesubasa Acher Imiktasa, or she gave it over as a present to another person or a portion of it, then Leitimkas Ashar Bebeis. She cannot sell the rest of her ksuba unless she does it through Bezin for Mizaynis purposes. In other words, even though we said she could sell her fields that are designated for her ksuba in order to get Mizaynis, that is not true once she has sold a portion of her ksuba. So no, she can even sell 4 or 5 times. She can sell her ksuba in 4 or 5 different, break it up in 4 or 5 different portions, and nonetheless, she still has mizaynis, and therefore she could still sell the property of her dead husband for mizaynis. Because she should write when she sells it that she's selling it for mizaynis. The grusha leitimkar ela bebezdin. But we mentioned earlier that the grusha, no matter what, she can only sell in bezdin for mizaynis purposes. Why? Because 2 reasons: either that the reason that we don't want a woman to go to Bezdin is a husband doesn't want his wife to look despicable, doesn't want to look bad, doesn't want to embarrass her, but a grusha doesn't care, let her be embarrassed, or inami china, to be desirous, and a husband doesn't really care if his divorcee is desirous or not. So Masnizat Mani, Rabbi Shimon, the mission is going to Rabbi Shimon, the Tanya. Machra Kesubasa, Paitiki, meaning, what's that Paitiki? That a Paitiki means I borrow money, and I say, you collect my money, Apoite Heikoi. This Ksuba is where you will collect from. That's what a Paitiki means. Le Acher, Ein La Mizaynis. She loses her Mizaynis. If she got rid of her entire, Tanakama says, if she sold her entire ksuba, she no longer has any rights of collection, then she loses her. She didn't sell it. Only half of it. Then after Mizayna sell, she loses her Mizayna nonetheless. In other words, Rabbi Shimon's shita is once she sells some of her power of collection, she had a ksuba worth 200. She sold the rights to 100. She wanted money now. So she says, I'll give you the rights to collect 100 if you give me $15 now. So she already dipped into the jackpot. She no longer gets mizaynis. Shimon says, even though he owes her money, some of the money, we don't evaluate the money owed, the portion owed, to be equivalent to as if he owed her everything. In other words, if he owes her the entire ksuba, she gets mizaynis. The fact that he no longer owes her the entire ksuba, but he still owes her something, that's not equivalent to owning the entire thing, says Reb Shimon. The Rabbanan say no. As long as he owes her something, that has the din as if he owes her everything. Says the Gemara, didn't we learn the exact opposite regarding bisulim? In other words, if a woman loses some of her bisulim, so do we say that the fact that she has some remaining, that's the same halacha as if she has everything remaining? Or do we say, no, once she loses a little bit, it's as if she lost everything? So we say, by bisulim, we have the exact opposite shitas. That a kohen gadol has to marry a bisula. Where it says that if she's a begeres, which means that she lost her bisulim naturally, even though she never had biyah, she never did anything, she just naturally lost a portion of her bisulim, then Meir says kohen gadol cannot marry her any longer. Rabbi Shimon say no, she can marry begeres, even though she lost some of her bisulim. Why? Because Rabbi Shimon over there says the fact that she has some of her bisulim, that's equivalent to having everything. right? By Kesef, he said, if she lost some of her ksuba and he still owes her some, the fact that he owes her some is not equivalent to owing her everything. But by Besulim, we say, Kozman, she has some of them, it's equivalent to having all of them. Exact opposite Shita. Says the Gemara, they're arguing there about Psukim. Meir Suffer Besula, Phil mixes Besulim. The pasuk says V'hi isha bibsuleha. So it could have just said bisulim, bisula, isha bisula. Why did it say more than that? To teach you bisulim, that as long as she's losing some of her bisulim, he can't marry her. Bisuleha, I think it cool. Bisulim bibsula, the extra base, kedarka in, shalei kedarka loy. That if she had tashmish kedarka, then she's not a besula. But shaloi kedarka loy, she doesn't become a beula if it's shaloi kedarka. If it would have just said besula, that would imply that she has all of her bisulim. Bisulah, feeling makes bisulim to come to include, even if she's lost some of her bisulim, she'll become begaris. Nonetheless, he can still marry her. Bibsula, the extra base, shu kol bisulah kayamin begedarka ben shloi gedarka, meaning she never had tashmish, even if she had tashmish shloi gedarka, that's going to answer her, passel her for marrying a kohen gadol. So over there, they're arguing about psukim. But in the Chanami, in general, Rabbi Shimon would say, mixas ksuba is lav kikoil haksuba dami. Mixas kesubos is not kikoil kesubos. Hey, to the top of the kaspa, the kaspa beksubasa. A woman went to the Yisraelim and grabbed a kais, a silver cup, in order to pay for her ksuba. And now that cup was not equivalent, didn't equal the value of the entire ksuba. So they still owe her something. The Yisraelim still owe her something. Katava mezayne, she came and demanded, pay me my mezayne. It's also asked me to help the mezaynes. Gotta pay her, you owe her money, so you gotta give her mezayne still. Why? Lest the chash laha de Reb Shimon da Amar Loyim mixes kesef kol kesef. Because no one is worried about Rabbi Shimon Shita. The Omar loy amrin shalach lei Rabbi Breya de Rabbi Rav Yosef meicheres shaloi bebezdin. If she's selling part of the property outside of court in order to get mezaynos, tzricha shavua or einoi tzricha shavua? Does she now have to take a shavua that she didn't take too much? That she didn't take too much. She didn't take any more fields than were necessary to pay for her mezainis. Why are you asking if she needs a shvua? Maybe she should need a hacharaza. Maybe she have to make a public announcement that she's selling in order to get a mezainis. I don't have a kasha. Says Rabbi to Rabbi Yosef, I don't have a kasha about a hacharaza. Why? If a woman took a field and evaluated it and said, this field is worth my entire ksuba, and then we find out she never used any evaluator, she didn't have basin evaluator, she didn't have anyone professional evaluator, her grabbing it and saying this is worth 200, this is worth 400 is irrelevant. What's the case? Either achreis, if they announce, she said, I'm going to take this as my ksuba, I'm going to take this, my loyas of the klum. Why is it that it's not as if she did nothing? No one's protesting her taking this field and saying this field is worth 100, even though the field might be worth 400. She says it's worth 100. No one's protesting. She's announcing it publicly for a month. It must be she didn't announce it publicly. So if she took it for herself, then it's irrelevant, it's invalid. However, but if she would take it and sell it, she found a buyer, then it would work. Then it would work. So what? So he says, I didn't have a kasha about hachraza because we see you don't need hachraza. You don't need hachraza. Says the Gemara, the achas. Really, there was always an announcement. There was an announcement. If there's an announcement, how come no one protested? Says the Gemara, the Amri law, man shamlecha. They did protest. They did protest. She says she's going to take this field she says it's only worth 100. I'm going to take this field for my Kesubos. It's only worth 100. A guy says, who told you it's only worth 100? The Yisraelim come and say, who told you it's only worth 100? Meaning, really, it's worth more than that. We believe it's worth more than that. Prove to us. So in Mela, that's why it's loyal to Sabla. But in a Chanami, if there would be a Hachraza and no one would protest, no one would say anything, in a Chanami, you should be able to collect it. Because you do need a Hachraza. Ki haida hu gavida afkidu gabe kisto the yasmi, like this man that he was holding on, he was protecting the coral, some expensive rocks or coral. Literally, Rashi in the Lashon here is shekuim coral, right? From the Yisraelim. Also, shomal nafshei be'arba mei azuzi. He went and evaluated. He said it's worth 400 zuz. This is a beautiful thing. It's worth 400 zuz. The yakir come then it was worth 600. Also come to Rabbi, and he took it to pay for his loan. In other words, he lent the money to the dad. He's holding on as a bikod in the coral. It was worth 400. Now it's worth 600. He says, I'm collecting it for my $400 loan that the father owes me. And then it's worth 600. So he's saying, I get the extra 200. And the Yisraelim say, hold on. Why should you get the extra 200? You should have to give us back 200. Also come to Rabbi Ami Amarle Man Shamlecha. Rabbi says to the man, the Shemer, who evaluated it for you that said it was worth 400 when you took it? Who evaluated it for you? The fact that you evaluated it for yourself, that's not good enough. We have to have a real, public, halachically valid evaluation. The halacha is that if she sold the land, she needs to take a shavua that she didn't sell too much. She has to take a shavua that she didn't sell too much and collect too much money. And also, we do not require a hacharaza, that if a person's collecting, she's selling the land, she doesn't have to be machriz that I'm selling it for X value. Says the Mishnah, a woman's Kesubos is worth 200, then she found a field that's 100, but somebody bought it for 200. So what are we going to look at it? Are we going to look at it as she got 200? Because guess what? She sold it for 200. You say, no, it was really only worth 100. Or the opposite. It was really worth 200 and she only sold it for 100. Says the Gemara, Mishnah is Kesubos. Good enough. If you can figure out where the 200, either 200 before, 200 after, either way, it's Kesubos. She only has a Kesubos of 100, and she sold a piece of property that was worth more than 100. Doesn't really matter how much more. For 100, it's not valid. She had no rights, no ability to sell more than her Kesubos worth. Even if she says, I'm going to return the extra value that I took, doesn't work. Says Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, it's all the sales valid as long as she's selling something that's less than a field, a gina. A gina means that it's planted, an area that's planted for fruits. As long as there, or as long as there's less than something, a piece of property that's actually able to be used, then the mechira is going to be kaim, and of course she has to return the money, the extra money that she took. But the fact that the land could not be used for anything else would allow the mechira to be kaim. Umachol is the dinar b'moneh. 1, and then 1 plus. So says the Gemara. So it says the Mishnah. So the last one because she sold too much and walked out. But the first 2 are valid. Says the Gemara. Ma'ishno shova mazayim b'moneh da'amri lo hal sadik. Shova moneh b'masayim nami. Tema ona arvachno. If she sold something, a field that was worth 200 for 100, she says she lost out. She could have got 200. She messed up. So, and therefore she can't collect anymore for the Kesubos. Why don't we say the opposite also? It was really only with 100. So why do we say that now, since she was able to sell it for 200, it's called 200? The field was only with 100. Kan shona Rabbi hakol lebal hamois. Everything goes to the bal hamois. We always give the benefit of the doubt to the owner of the money. In other words, she's now going to collect more from the Yisayim. So hakol lebal hamois, she has to bring a raya to collect more. So the Yisayim say you collected 200 already. And either because the field was worth 200 or because physically she got 200. So everything goes to the Baal Ma'is. She doesn't have the benefit of that at all. There's a machlekes really about hakoil Baal HaMa'is or not. So if a sifu lo achas yisera, what happened in this case? It's a tesefta, right? So what happened over here? They added on one more. To the if a shliach is selling land and he sold too much, is that the case here? 1 second, let me just make sure I have the Tosefta correct. Look up the case Tosefta inside. Yeah, if the shliach, he bought something. He didn't sell something. He bought something, and the seller gave him extra. So the extra that the shliach got, he gets to keep. And Rabbi Yossi says the extra the shliach got, they split evenly. Cause why? Rabbi Yossi says, why do they split it evenly? Because Rabbi Yossi says that the harvacha gets split down the middle. So everything should go to the not to the shliach, but to the one who sent it. In other words, if it's something that is a set amount, something that is a piece, a metaltalin, which has set of a market value, then the extra is divided evenly between the shliach, the harvacha, the profit is divided evenly between the shliach and the mishalech, the sender, and the one in the shliach who actually made the profits. But if it's davar she'ein loy kitzva, it has no set value like karkas davar she'ein loy kitzva can be. There's no market value for karkas, go up and down value no matter what. So for davar she'ein loy kitzva, that's where they say hakoil. The Rabbi Yossi says hakoil lebal hamois, and even in davar she'ein loy kitzva. Right? Even in a davar she'ein loy kitzva, the Rabbi Yehuda says it goes to the shliach always. So Amar Papa hilchos davar she'ein loy kitzva chalkin, davar she'ein loy kitzva hakol lebal hamois. Back to Gemara, Mike Mashmalon. What's a chiddush? The Shaninon, it's an answer that we already explained this answer. So it's a chiddush that you're telling me. Says the Gemara. Shinuya, who it's a valid answer. The halacha that we said is taka true, that there is a distinction between davar she'ein lo kitzva davar she'ein loy kitzva.